Howdy folks, Little John, brew day, and today knocking out a all-grain Pilsner. I had planned to do this on the 3V system, but due to time constraints today I haven't got the time because it's not fully set up, so I'm just knocking it through the Robobrew. So I'm going to do a split batch on this one, as I always do with half batch. The two different yeasts. I'm going to do half with Rocky Mountain Lager and the other half with Copenhagen lager yeast. So just to see what the difference is. Very simple pills, 100% Pilsner malt. I'm doing the bulk of it straight up in the Robobrew. It's mashing at 64 degrees at the moment. I'm just waiting for the 10-minute sort of rest for the grain to settle, and I'll put the pump on. I'm going to do 40 minutes at 40 minutes at 64 degrees. Then I'll ramp up for a 20-minute rest at 72. Keep it very simple today. I am going to take I've got held back 500 grams of the malt, which is about probably 6 or 7% of the whole grain bill, and I'm going to stick that into about 5 litres of water, and I'm just going to boil that for basically for 40 minutes, 30 minutes, the length once it comes up, just nice and slow. So basically I'm going to do a decoction on that, just to throw in some depth of malt flavour. I'm not mucking around. Normally I do it with a bit of grain, a bit of Munich or a bit of Cara. I'm leaving this pure 100% pills and just going to use that decoction to bring up a little bit extra maltiness. So at the end of the 64-minute mash, I will add in the decoction and then raise the whole up to 72 and go from there. And then I'll sparge out with the balance of more water to get me up to my final volume. So that's going on at the moment. I'm going to bitter with SARS at 60 minutes up to, I think it was about 28 IBU, and then SARS at 10 minutes for another 3. A bit under 3. I've got a total of 30 IBU, so it was about 27.5, bittering 2.5 for the late edition. I've added nothing to the water. I'm just using straight tap water. My tap water is fairly soft, and previously I've actually cut it back with distilled water, but I'm not going to worry about that today. I'm just going straight with the water, no problem at all. So that's it. We'll get it on. We'll come back and have a look at some numbers and things later on. Okay, our decoction is boiling away, just nice and gently. It's had quite a big hot break, so I'll let that basically simmer on a low boil for 20 minutes, then let it back into the mash. Okay, so the decoction's done. Adding that back in. So I've pulled the top screen off, covered the overflow pipe. I'm a bit concerned we're not going to have enough room for all this, but no, we might have. Yeah, just. Okay, so we'll pop the screen back on. Settle back by itself pretty well. Stop. And we'll correct the recirculation starting again. Yeah, I'm pretty well into the mash. I just want to recirculate this for about 10 minutes just to get that bed to settle back down again before I pull the malt pipe up and do a sparge. Trying to lose the bloody handle. Which is not what we want. Righto. We'll let that drain and we'll sparge that with, I'm just using the water left over from filling the fermenter, so just in the cube, so it's just at room temp. And that should get me pretty close to pre-boil, and if not we'll top up when we get there. Alright, boil's finished, cooled, well cooled, let it settle, got a sample, and we've ended up at close enough to 1042, fraction, maybe just a tad over, maybe 1043, around 23 litres. I was looking for 22 litres at 1042, so yeah, I'd say 1043, so pretty spot on. So I'm going to split, so I'm splitting this into the two fermenters. As I said, one sitting just here. I've got my yeast. This is a Rocky Mountain. These straight in now. I've had these starters going over the last 2 weeks, just slowly stepping them up. Rocky Mountain and the Copenhagen. And I've just gave them a little bit of, tiny little bit of Dex this morning. I pulled them out of the fridge just to wake them up a little bit. And we'll get them in. They're going to go in the fridge at 11 degrees. And I'm going to run these at a fairly standard lager ferment, so about 3 weeks before they'll come out of the fridge. So no dry hopping, nothing like that, just going to go straight as they are. Yeah, I'm happy with that. There's good hop there. Yep. So, it's been a good day. So now we'll wait for a little while and we'll come back and we'll have a taste on these. Righto, bottling day on the Pilsner. A few bottles down on what is the second half of the bottling. This is the Copenhagen lager half, which is all going into bottles, primed with carb drops, and the other half I've got 3 bottles there, and 1 9-litre keg. Not going to pick up the label, anyway, 9-litre keg with the Rocky Mountain Lager. So these will go away for a couple of weeks, and then a couple of weeks after that we'll taste them. So we're underway. Right, tasting day on the on this lager. So just poured 1 bottle of each of the yeasts. So this one on your left, on my right, is the Copenhagen, and your right, my left, is the Rocky Mountain Lager. Now you can see the Copenhagen's nice and clear. Now the Rocky Mountain did pour clear. I got a little bit of sediment in the bottle. It hadn't been in the fridge quite as long, and it was a little bit looser. Poured a bit fizzier, so I got a little bit of yeast in there. But prior to that, it was just every bit as clear as the Copenhagen. So they're looking quite nice. Sat here a little bit, the head's starting to fade on them. They poured with a nice head. So the Copenhagen ended up finishing at 10:15. And I've had a couple of these over the last week or so. A couple over Christmas, and it was well received. And that's no surprise. It's just good. It's good. It's a really nice, solid, Czech lager. Leaning into the Pilsner side. It's got a nice little hint of the stars. Nice sweet malt. It's not overly bitter. They've got a nice bitterness there with that gentle SARS that comes on through with that little bit from in the late hit. Gravity finished at 10:15, so I've retained a good whack of the sweetness. But yeah, drinking really nice. Now the Rocky Mountain I've not tried. I kegged most of this. I only actually bottled 4 bottles, so this is the first one that's actually gone in the fridge. I only went in the fridge last night, so it hadn't had as much time to compact in the yeast, which is why I've got a little bit in there. But, pardon me. And it finished at 10:11, so 4 points lower than the Copenhagen, so actually a bit drier. Yeah, it's quite nice as well. So it is that little bit, it's not quite as big on the body, so that 4 points difference. It's still drinking quite nice. I think for myself, I think the Copenhagen's the nicer beer. Oh, look, they're different while still being the same, which is to be expected. The hops are a bit more noticeable with the Copenhagen than they are with the Rocky Mountain, but again, that little bit of yeast that got in there could be having a bit of an effect on that. But they're both a good beer. At the moment they're just a bottling They're only, well, not even a month old, bottled on the 1st of December, so they're only 4 weeks old. I would imagine give them another 6 to 8 weeks and they'll crisp up enough, that yeast will drop right out and they'll be really, really nice. But nah, they're drinking really good. That decoction, it's worked to put that little bit extra depth into the malt without being ridiculous. It's not overly sweet or anything. There's not a distinct caramelly or a malty sort of a flavour. It's just there, just enough to do the job. Everything's balanced up really nice. I'm pretty happy with the combination. Pardon me. The hop and the malt. If I was going to do anything, I'd possibly might look at just playing around the water just a little bit to get the pop just a little bit. It's a little bit more just a touch of gypsum, just to give the hop a little bit more bite. It would be the only thing I'd really change. And again, that's given off my water, which is reasonably soft, so I don't think that's something. So not a real lot that you need to do, and you can probably, depending on where your water are, you can probably get away without having to play around with it. But I think that's realistically the only thing. And if it wasn't the water issue, you'd look at bumping up the hops by an extra couple of IBU up front, just to get that same result. So you can do it either way, but whichever way. And right now, this beer, I'm really happy with that. So that's it. Czech lager, we call it SARS is life. Done both ways. I think personally the Copenhagen as it is works just a little bit better. Oh look, it's a bit more rounded. It's a little bit drier. Both bloody good beers. So anyway, that's me. That's done. So Czech lager done. As always, you got any comments, stick them down the bottom. Any questions, go ahead and ask. If you haven't subscribed, Little John, hit the subscribe button. If you like what you see, you want to see more of it, you want to get involved, you want to help out, jump on Patreon, have a look. The link's down the bottom. Other than that, that's me, Little John, done for the day. Czech lager, drain the glass. Until I see you again, we talking beer, drinking beer, or we brewing beer. Good brewing.